Hello, ladies and gentlemen, for the ones that are watching on YouTube. You disappoint me. Splargles makes me proud. Because he's here, of course, watching on Twitch. Thank you very much. Obviously, I'm just kidding. Bless you and bless your soul. Let's take a look at this game. G2 vs Fnatic was played a couple of hours ago. Let's mute Medic and Various, the lovely voices of Medic and Various. We're going to fast forward a bit, finish up the draft. People hovering Kaiser for his girlfriend that is called Kaiser. I think, maybe. Don't know. Let's just go all the way. Hello, Newcaster. Thank you. I don't know why I say thank you to that, but thank you. I'm honored to be called a caster. Okay. So honestly, I thought that G2 was trolling. I thought G2 was trolling in the draft. So let's stop there. Okay. Ornn ban standard. Pantheon ban standard. Aphelios trade for Senna is something that has happened often, but G2 don't like playing Gangplank. So like, if a team is rotating Gragas GP, then that's cool, right? It's good into Aphelios. But they're banning here Aphelios with the intention, because they don't want to rotate this, right? They have no interest in rotating this. No interest at all. First pick Gragas, I like in this position. Other options were like MF, right? But honestly, Gragas is high prio, so I like it. This answer I also like. I think Olaf Ezreal is a good answer here. You're also setting yourself up to be good into enemy GP if it happens, right? Because here, if you pick MF, you're going to struggle against the double barrel combo. Gragas GP is just too hard, and we know that Fnatic like to pick GP on 3. Tricky part with Xayah Rakan right now, because you want to pick Xayah together, like you want to pick this lane together, right? The tricky part is that top lane, with too many top lane bans, it becomes very tricky. Set, all of a sudden, you know, he cannot, like, you know, if we go into second wave and they fourth pick top, it'll be too easy. It'll be too easy. So most of the time you're going to see top laners pick third, match third or something, unless you have a Janna planned into the set specifically, right? Because no team is going to ban Janna second wave in this position. Yuumi gets locked in, which was surprising, but in this position they know that Rakan is being picked. Xayah will get banned. You know, the question is, why did they pick Rakan here? Well, Rakan doesn't have that many bad matchups, and it forces very specific bans from the enemy side. So you force ban, you just don't have room to pick AD carry. I just don't think you have room to pick AD carry because of how the top lane meta is right now. It's too dangerous because of bans. And then usually you pick AD here, but the option could be to pick Kaiser here, right? You could pick Kaiser here. Enemy is showing Ezreal already. That could be the move, right? That could be the move. But Rakan is always a good pick. I don't think he has any hard counters, so in this case I think it's fine. So Set, Bwipo, these three picks, I like them, first three. I don't think it's too bad. I like the adaptation of going Set over GP here. I think Set has very little bad matchups because of how his HP regen and how many base stats he has. And with that being said, I think the first three choices of Fnatic are good. Here in second wave, I still thought they would look to ban MF here, because I don't think it's too bad. But the Kaiser lock-in, as the pick and ban phase progressed, I kind of realized that Kaiser is going to be a strong pick here into the Ezreal. It's always been the natural counter, because Kai'Sa just pushes faster than Ezreal, and when you get pushed against Ezreal, he doesn't get to land Qs on you too well. And then later, you can actually catch up to him in an all-in, and you synergize well with these 3 picks here. So already, there's many champions that are going to apply many passive stacks for Kai'Sa, so Kai'Sa is very happy. So this was another strong pick. Well, the question mark is still the Yasuo maybe isn't a strong pick. All in all, Ezreal, Yuumi, Janna. I think into them, naturally, I feel like Yasuo is good into Ezreal, good into Yuumi. Janna is kind of 50-50, but playing Janna against Gragas is kind of tricky. So if Gragas keeps his ult, and Yasuo keeps ult always, before they commit, and they always deny... and they always deny Janna ult heal, then they can definitely find ways to win fights. Because if you look at the rest of the team, they don't have many good ways of denying and canceling CC if Janna is not the one. So as long as in the mid game Fnatic were able to engage on Janna first and kept, not necessarily engage on Janna first, because Janna can stay very, very far back, but you can also keep your key ultimates, right? You can fight without Janna interacting and then throw Gragas ult always on Janna and into Yasuo ult, and then you can always deny that, because if you Yasuo ult Janna, all of a sudden there is nothing there that can cancel you. QSS is a big counter buy to this whole team, so that's going to be an issue for Fnatic. Scaling wise, G2 are very favored. Very favored scaling wise, because Yuumi and Janna is just scaling wise is absolutely nuts. Grievous wounds is just not high enough, and Ezreal with the QSS and Akali will not be able to die. So these 3 champions are not going to be able to die if they reach that point in the game where they have Athenes, they have a couple of items, they have QSS. Like QSS is a very important buy. So if you have QSS on Ezreal, you're not going to be able to die. If you have even QSS on Janna is a potential purchase, right? You can go for the QSS on Janna. Imagine you get Gragas ulted, Yasuo ults, you QSS, and then you R, and then you already denied a lot of that engage. Same thing with Sylas, right? I mean, not Sylas, but Sett. QSS, when you have a dash on a champion like Ezreal, is also very, very good. So all in all, the key thing here is Sett should have prio. Kai'Sa's Rakan should have prio, because Yuumi is very weak early. Like, Yuumi is not a champion early game. You're basically laning 1v2 almost with Ezreal Yuumi. So everything points in the direction that they have prio. Olaf is not strong enough on his own to like solo game prio in these matchups. Akali, a melee champion, doesn't get a lot of room to play this game early on. So early should be completely in Fnatic's hands, even though G2 have Olaf. They can do some things with Olaf, sure, but Gragas should be able to do some shenanigans. You can QSS Grog R into Yasuo R, right? But does it need to be QSS Flash? So basically, like, if you are being displaced, you're still going to move, even if QSS. For example, if Gragas barrel pushes you away, you're still going to get pushed away. But if you QSS Flash, then you stop getting pushed away, but you're not CC'd any longer, and it doesn't count as a displacement for Yasuo. So basically what you want to do is you want to QSS Yasuo's ult, not Gragas ult. If you're playing something like Janna, you want to QSS Yasuo ult. Thank you so much, Jack Search. Thank you. So to summarize the draft, scaling, better. Itemization choices are very easy. QSS, double Athenes is going to be huge. Scaling is stonks. Early is good. Gragas ult needs to be kept for Janna, and they should be able to snowball early, for sure. The Fnatic should be able to have full control in the early game, because they are pushing side lanes, and they can use that in order to make Yasuo win his matchup mid. Akali should not have room to go aggro this game. You can Ezreal E, yes. You can Ezreal E out of QSS as well. You don't need to flash. Did Fnatic even build any Grievous Wounds? I think Gragas built Grievous Wounds. I can't remember. Nevertheless, I think we've gone through the draft. Akali as the last pick is decent because it's a good matchup into Yasuo. Honestly, there's very few champions that are going to be allowed to play the game here. So I think, while I think the Akali pick, I was listening to Parks talking about it. There's no mid laner to pick here that's going to be good. You need to go Akali. If you pick a mage, you're going to get screwed. You need to pick something that can just survive Gragas Yasuo. And Akali does that very well, and in 1v1 Akali should win against Yasuo, even though the matchup has been nerfed for Akali. What about disengage if you want to keep Gragas R to Janna? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. So who won this draft? Honestly, I thought Fnatic was favored. I feel like Fnatic is favored. G2 have a composition that they just need to stay even for as long as possible, and usually those compositions fall short. It's not like Fnatic's composition scales super bad. Like Yasuo Windwall is very good against that composition. Kai'Sa can scale very well as well. It's not like it's a hard outscale. But if the game is even, or G2 steals a Nashor like they did, then definitely the game will be close to impossible for Fnatic. I was not so happy with the choice of going with Send in the mid lane. I think it's a weak choice. I think you delay your power super hard as Yasuo when you go for it. And I think Fnatic had enough power in their side lanes to cover this. I wanted to highlight as well, honestly, Bwipo is a genius, man. Going for the Predator, finding that adaptation in Champion Select already is absolutely crazy. Because what is the one thing Janna's going to do, right? He's going to roam, and with Predator he's going to be able to match, and there is nothing really that is going to, there's no keystone that's going to actually activate this lane in any shape or form. We've seen some fleet footwork against Soraka and so forth, but it's just kind of pointless. Fnatic bot lane should have prio into Ezreal Yuumi at all times. I just think, honestly, Predator set is just genius. It's so good into champions you don't interact with, and set he was really big brain. I also really like Bwipo's build this game, and Bwipo was really good. Cavs is having nightmares with these Ezreal, with his Draken Ws. I think G2's composition, like Olaf can't really carry. It's not a champion that can carry. Especially against Fnatic's champs. Like, it's pretty difficult to play Akali Olaf into Fnatic's champions. Kai'Sa's just so strong into it. And Ezreal, when he has QSS, is going to be unkillable. So Ezreal is going to be a lot of that front-loaded damage. I think G2 hard outscale, but we can't blame the casters for whatever they said. It's a new composition. You need to think on the fly, and that's very difficult. Like, now I've got to digest the game and to think about the game, and after that it's much easier in this format where I'm sitting at home and I can rewind and think about things and so forth. So it's very, very unfair to judge a caster's knowledge. Fnatic's composition has so many strengths early on in the game. I think it's important to highlight that. I think Fnatic, I think more teams and more players in general should go into this double exhaust tech. I think double exhaust is really, really strong. I really like it, honestly. I think it's really OP. I think exhaust in general, the buff is huge, honestly. The buff is giga huge. So Yasuo already based. Now with the change to Akali Q and giving it so much energy cost, honestly, Akali can lose prio early on. Nemesis went for the Doran's Blade base, no potion into potion. You have to keep in mind Perks has TP. Olaf and Gragas, very little interaction. Olaf has just cleared faster, and that's why he's ahead on tempo. He has a base advantage, and Gragas, I mean, Olaf is just clearing, and he's not going to get spotted by the bot side crab. Oh, good. So Wunder is playing this support Janna here, right? He's just looking to use a support item, get gold. The usual stuff. Play it the same way as you would play a Sona. Janna very mobile, very good scaling as well with the R and getting levels. That's the story of many supports, honestly. The fact that they scale so well with levels is usually the biggest issue. So this is going to be a freeze for Wunder. A lot of the creeps were low already, and he pulled them just that extra bit to make sure that this is indeed a freeze. Freezing is good for him, because obviously people can't pressure him onto the turret. Now people with the tech again, he went for the boots of swiftness. The boots of swiftness are quite nice. Just full mobility against the Janna. If there's ever going to be any interaction between Set and Janna, it's going to be like a dive or something else. So honestly, Set, this Predator buy is so big brain. It's kind of sucked for Perks because he had to flash and lost a lot of HP, gets no advantage at all from his TP. And this is the story of the game, right? Akali is a melee champion, needs to walk on the wave, so as long as Yasuo manages the wave properly, and then it's so easy to punish Akali. Can you review C9 vs TSM? Will happen after this game, my friend. But to summarize C9 vs TSM, C9 draft is a bit oof. Nevertheless, but the thing is, most C9 drafts have been oof. They just got away with it. This time around it was Giga oof, and TSM played a solid game. Yeah, swiftness is just a good buy, honestly. The buffs on 10.5 are huge. 5 move speed is super cool. This ocean is going down quite slow. I felt like G2 could fully commit into this. No problem. They had the bottom prio. All of us on the map. No problem. No problem at all. This is one of the benefits of Olaf, right? Olaf is still very strong early. Him securing the crowd drake is a part of that. So here if Set latches on to Wunder, then of course Wunder is going to die. Wunder heals and runs away. No biggie. Wonder if he runs Nimble's Cloak. What would you say the odds of the final of the match of the split is G2 versus Fnatic? I think it's like 95%. 95% sure. If you can bet money on that somehow, you should go for it. It's free money. Olaf, I don't think was a bad pick. It's just important to remember, even though Olaf and Akali couldn't do much in this early game, against other champions, Fnatic could accomplish more. In a case where Jankos is not Olaf, then there's Gragas and Yasuo will take over the whole map, you know? They'll take over the whole map, they'll invade the Olaf and just cause problems. Here Olaf is just walking top to push and take a couple of CS because he just wants to get the Cinderhulk base. Next Drake spawns in 3 minutes, something we didn't notice as well was Selfmade actually. Stole the red buff right from under the nose of Jankos. Getting 8 CS for Gragas is very juicy. And this Olaf pick is doing so much because without this Olaf pick, Fnatic would have been able to contest even more and get an even bigger lead. Right now, G2 are stronger on the map. Reckless gets exhausted. That's a TP right away, but I think G2 should be able to walk away. No problem. It's a big TP, but There's no TP advantage, right? Because Janna is still on top side and Fnatic are already on the Herald. So Fnatic are doing some good moves here, honestly. Good moves. And Whippo with Predator and Swiftness, he's just jogging up to top lane. He's so freaking fast, he just walked past the Olaf. It's pretty sweet. No Drake for G2 just yet, and honestly, maybe the set TP wasn't needed on bottom. They could have not done that, and it would have been better. And I like the solution here from Fnatic as well. They rotated the Kaiser into top side, Set stuck around, they found the punish on Olaf, burned his ultimate. Fnatic got a very sneaky Rift Herald, it was a very, very nice play. Yeah, Janna has no TP, she's running heal. She's not going to flank with her TP, and she's mobile enough to catch up. She's not going to get prio ever, so she can just give up beforehand and walk. Bippo is kind of intaking here. I think Bippo should not be under the turret. It's pretty bad what he's doing. He also flashed for the Ezreal here, and maybe if he actually flashes on ours, the Ezreal here, it's better. I think Nemesis needed to ult on his own Q, like right here, he needed to R. He needed to just straight up R, and then maybe they can chain him. Filisang doesn't have Ignite, so probably they don't kill anyway. Perks gets away with his ultimate. And then Sets here just dies. Top turret loses a lot of HP here because of the Rift Herald, and Fnatic do gain an advantage, of course, because the tempo is just better on their side, but Set dying kind of compensates for it, because this was a lot of gold in G2's hands. This was 600 Gs, man. 600 Gs just... And that was the advantage that Fnatic got from... Yeah, but we shouldn't be under the turret here. He should walk into mid lane and then be a part of this gank they did on Akali. It would have been much better. I think to hope that G2 will fail execute the dive is very optimistic. Fnatic base and rotate into bottom. Set goes into top. You can see Janna's movement here. She's just giving up top side because the wave was good for her anyway. It was pushing into Set. But the tricky part here is G2 don't have a bottom wave, so it's difficult for them to force. Drake spawns in 10. And Set will be able to push and move on time because he's going to just Predator down here. So this is the opportunity for G2 because they are outnumbering. Janna's trying to stay out of vision for as long as possible, but now she showed. I think G2 should start this up. I think Set should just take top tower, honestly. But G2 walk away. G2 just walk away, and Fnatic mind game here pretty hard. Like Rakan was in base, Set was out of position, and all of these creeps that are running into top tower are going to be... A couple of them are going to be lost because Perks is going up there, and he has the TP. Right now, I think Perks... I think if Perks bases for Gunblade, I think he has a winning matchup into Bippo. The key thing here to highlight is... You know, sure, Set is strong and all, and can do well into Akali sometimes, but in this case he has no keystone. He's playing with Predator, which is good into Janna, but very bad into Akali. So here Akali creates an even wave on top, bases for Gunblade, and now G2 is in decent form. AD carry strength is relatively similar. But Yasuo, as we mentioned before, went for the Wit's End, and I really don't like the choice. Even though he didn't, if he wouldn't go for Wit's End here, he still wouldn't have the money to buy a PD, so maybe it wouldn't make that much of a difference. But Fnatic take away the Drake, and on this Akali base timer, they just started it, and they used the fact that Fnatic just had control of the river. It's really impressive how Fnatic make these judgment calls in these moments based off of the space they've created, because Set is showing on top wave. Not a lot of teams would have the intuition to just start Drake in this position because G2 is out of tempo. Is really incredible, honestly. Nemesis needs to flash, walks up a bit too far. Always a danger in playing mid lane. mid lane melee champions. Yeah, Nemesis never impressed me on any melee assassins, honestly. Set also took the top turret, and all of a sudden we have a 1.5k gold lead, not counting Infernal. Still, very unhappy about this with Saint choice. I think Yasuo got carried in the early game. This matchup is difficult for Yasuo, for sure, but he got carried by his team. Not because he's bad or something, but he got carried. And I think if you get carried, go for the PD. You are going to waste a lot of power here. You're going to get IE super late. You're going to be over attack speed cap, and it's just quite senseless. Sure, on side, Yasuo does better with Witsend into Akali, but the fact that Akali has TP means that most of the time Set is going to be the one interacting with Akali. And that's why I was praising Set's build so much, because he went for Bramble Vest and Spectral Skull and was set to deal with Akali on side. Yasuo is not going to deal with Akali on side most of the time. He's going to just push in the Janna lane, and Set should be the one matching Akali, because it's TP into TP, right? Bwipo TP, Akali TP. So we have this phase in the game where Fnatic are stronger. If they make catches, they create fights, they're going to be better off. G2 still needs some scaling, good movement from Wunder, and he walks away. I think Olaf is a strong pick here. I think if they have a different jungler than Olaf, sometimes, a very important point to make, guys, a very important point to make is Olaf doesn't necessarily need to get ahead early. I know that's a very common misconception. If you have champions that scale and Olaf gets you through early, that's also a big positive. If they had a weaker jungler, like let's say they had Sejuani, okay? Just for argument's sake, they had Sejuani. Or let's say they had Poppy. Maybe Fnatic would be able to invade. Maybe Fnatic would be able to push out Olaf and gain information on Olaf and create dives with the prio that they are building. In this game it didn't happen because Olaf still is very difficult to face check. If you fight into him and Akali and Olaf get to roll, get to be in a tussle, then all is good. I think if they pick a weaker jungler here, then they're going to just get annihilated in this early game. Olaf doesn't need, the jungle position doesn't need to outscale. That's the point. Right now, Janna, Ezreal, Yuumi is all the outscaling they need in order to beat this composition. What about, let's say, Lee, who is also good in early but has higher ceiling? So the thing is, Olaf is better into Gragas than what Lee is, because Gragas still has some good moments against Lee Sin. He can cancel Lee Sin Q, and he can buy Hourglass, and he can itemize well. While in the other situation, Olaf against Yasuo Gragas, he can't get ulted, can't get comboed, can be very beefy, and can very, very much so benefit from all of these heals that G2 are going to throw at him. Lee Sin is by no means good as a carry, you know? It's not a carry per se. Olaf still has some threats and pressure in terms of kill pressure. Let's continue on with the game. So Bwipo ulting was kind of strange, honestly. Very good Janna ult. Gragas ult is on cooldown. So here, Gragas ult is on cooldown. We mentioned before, Gragas ult is going to be very important to disrupt the Janna. Set ult gets used right away, no Gragas ult. So right now the setup that Yasuo has is only Rakan. And when you're burning your key ult, Kai'Sa is not going to have that big of a DPS output. So Set ulting Olaf here is obviously quite troll. Fnatic Nemesis has the Q, he went for it. And then the heal here is beautiful. It starts with a very big heal because the Athene's right. And then the Yasuo ult comes in, but this is a Zika's Arm Guard Janna, so he's a bit tanky. Kaiser's also not in position to fight. So we can see here Kaiser tries to walk around and loop around, but this is a fight where Kaiser's just not a part of this. Not a part of this at all. Reckless is finally here, and two members of Fnatic are already dead. Good return kills here with the Gragas E after the G2 chase here. And that's a kill. And that's another one. And then G2 walk away from the situation winning. Because here they are the one staying alive. They are the one that's pushing Fnatic out of the enemy base. Here G2, I think they were playing in a way as if they were careful, afraid of like a turn. But I think they should know that Rakan HP is so low. Maybe they should have committed on Reckless right away as well. So we mentioned before, G2 scales super well, so 2 for 2 is good for them. Reckless was probably safe here already, so I don't know if this set TP was correct. But in the end, it's completely fine considering Perks also TP'd into the last fight. Thank you so much, Anaznik. We get a replay. Replay. It's just two key ults from Fnatic are out, and also Kaiser is not a part of this fight. Kaiser doesn't have that long range on ult, and I think she should probably just stick around, but Akali is zoning her, so she's taking this long path. And then afterwards, Selfmade is also taking a long path when, in all honesty, he should have stuck around here. It's just that Akali zoned 3 people. I mean, 2 people. Akali zoned 2 people here, and 2 key ults from Fnatic off, and they're taking a fight when they don't need to. They weren't really paying attention to Kaiser's position here. I like this move from Selfmade. I've seen him do this many games where I just feel like Fnatic and G2 are very good at recognizing the team's tempo, and here I feel like G2 are considering, you know, should we contest Herald, whatever. Oh, never mind, it's just taken, one of those moments. And just playing good move from Selfmade. I feel like the teams are very, very aware of their tempo. Very, very good timer for Fnatic to pressure here. They have 2 items on Kaiser, and Ezreal doesn't have a Trinity Horse finished yet. What G2 has got going for them, like they didn't finish Black Cleaver either, didn't finish Trinity Force, didn't finish Zhonya's. They are too close to items while Kaiser finished hers. So now this is strong time for Fnatic to pressure and to force. Ezreal just needs 3 items, honestly. He needs 3 items, even 4.5, I guess, with QSS. QSS is also super clutch, because QSS just counters Fnatic's composition. I think QSS on Janna is also interesting. No TPs on both TP users. So we have this tight 4-1 game, which Fnatic should be advantageous in, because they have the Kaiser with 2 items, and she can just clear the wave, one-shot the wave. Also now with this Herald running into mid lane, it's almost that it fucking dies. This is sweet. Very, very greedy gameplay here from G2. They're looking to, like, Wunder just walking up too far, and then really, really nice moves here from Rakan. Of course, Wunder could also react, right? He needs to press R. He needs to press R. So Wunder could definitely outplay this, right? He was just like, if he survives that, it's cool. Because in the end, what happened here? Like, imagine Wunder presses R on Hylissang W, right? On time. The sweet part here is this Rift Herald actually manages to die here, and this Rift is pretty huge because the Rift Herald would kill the turret. Janna could easily cancel here. Yeah, he said in the interview he's only play. He only played the 3 games as he mentioned himself, which is pretty hilarious. What a fucking monkey. As Fnatic are playing, I mean, G2 are playing a very dangerous game. What was the point of this that they did right here? They went for this crazy Drake. There was a very strange obsession here with the Cloud Drake, when in all honesty they could just give it up, right? They could give it up because their composition is obviously revolving around reaching that breakpoint where Ezreal is unkillable. But instead we have them forcing here. So now the big question mark is, can Fnatic actually do Nashor after this? Olaf is dead. Imagine a world where Gragas bases and everyone rushes to Nash. Because right now the damage output is high enough on Kai'Sa to actually be able to do it. But then the biggest question mark after that comes is, of course, Ezreal, Akali have a very easy time of contesting Nashor. They can easily walk in to the Nashor space, poke a lot, and Fnatic are not so durable. So I think Baron Nashor is off the table, honestly. I think you can't do Baron here. It's just one of those moments where you feel like what Fnatic is supposed to get is more significant. Yeah, I don't think G2's composition is that good. Like, they got away with murder today, honestly. They got away with murder big time. Fnatic were definitely the ones poised to win this game. G2 were very greedy in this Drake situation, and Fnatic are 4,000 gold ahead. And a lot of that gold is on Kai'Sa. It's like missing W, hard to hit an invisible target, of course. This is a bit too dangerous, they can't be doing this. A bit too much. Loved your cast today. I've been a fan of your work and analysis for a long while and was really excited to see you cast. It was amazing, really nice to listen to. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, EU Sensen, man. I appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. We have a replay. Wunder, snoring a little bit. This was honestly very nice play from G2 and also bad Rift Herald placement from Fnatic, right? Because usually it shouldn't happen that you place Rift Herald in a way where the enemy can easily poke it down and not allow it to hit. It should be a guaranteed hit in most cases. And then G2 just doing Cloud Drake here. Janna was dead. It was super greedy. G2 were fake pressuring too much. They were trying to do what Fnatic did to them early on, and it didn't work. Shema, sharpen wood. Yeah, we're going to do C9 versus TSM. I want to say C9 versus Paul. It's cool how Fnatic know that their composition struggles to take mid turret, but they're chipping away. One auto, that's also great. Wonder walking up. Akali just gets to catch two sides. There's this funnel gold into Akali at this point because Janna doesn't want any of that money. See, Ezreal is not doing enough damage right now to kind of poke the enemy out. Fnatic gets the turret. A lot of top creeps are dying. G2 are not getting them. Akali going back into bottom. Kind of a misstep here from G2. Should recognize that they're actually losing the mid turret no matter what. And Akali should keep pushing bottom. Shouldn't Nemesis just build IE after Wits? No, it's not so good. Not a big fan of Nemesis Yasuo. It was a pretty decent pick in this game though. Picking Yasuo into Ezreal Yuumi already is super cool. Off topic right now, but prelims are gonna start soon. I'm not gonna watch prelims, sadly. I need to get some work done because tomorrow I'm going to cinema to see 2 movies with my lovely girlfriend. So if we look at the game state right now, right, Fnatic, all they need to look to do is to push all the way the side lanes. This was kind of an overforce. Caps with a good sidestep, but I think looking for this was very dangerous. I think maybe Rakan and Kaiser could take a more aggressive path. Really, I thought Yasuo into Olaf was kind of bad. So Yasuo into Olaf is bad. You're right there. But the interaction with the rest of the champs is still pretty good. Janna is also an issue for Yasuo. It's just that Yasuo, in my opinion, is very good into Ezreal Yuumi. But you are right with Yasuo being bad into Olaf. So let's rewind this. We just need to pay attention to Kaiser and Rakan position. They are too far and they need to be taking aggressive path if they want to go for this. Selfmade went for the predict, but it didn't happen. And I'm thinking even if it did happen, I think Yuumi just goes on to exhaust the Yasuo and heal the Ezreal and nothing's going to happen. I just think even if this Gragas ult hits, I think it's going to be a bad play. But you make a very good point. Like Yasuo is not so great into Olaf and Janna. So it's fair what you thought, Mighty. So we go again. Rakan, Kaiser position is what's important. Set as TP. Even if they land this R, I don't think they can one-shot. This flash was a bit odd from from Caps. It was pretty troll, honestly. Good itemization from Bwipo. Honestly, Bwipo itemization, I will never question it again. The Wits End was big brain, honestly. And now Bramblevest is also a great buy. It's good into Akali, and Akali no longer wins 1v1 against Set, even though Bwipo has... honestly, maybe the Predator makes Akali win, because G2 has, like, Perks has a lot of sustain, and Bwipo has no sustain, besides his HP regen, I guess. But I think Bwipo should win side. He's too tonky. Cloud Drake. Very difficult for G2 to find entry from such a space. If they're not first on the dragon, I think this narrow choke point is just suicide against Rakan and all of these champs. Yasuo was just too valuable and so forth. What do you think about Predator on laners in general? Should it be used more? So I like it on Vladimir. I think it's pretty cool on Vladimir because you can use it as an engage tool. It kind of works as another summoner, right? Predator is like adding another summoner to your kit, but it makes you weaker. It does make you weaker. In this lane matchup, it makes a lot of sense because Set will win the matchup. Right, he's going to push, but he's never going to pressure the Janna, right? He's never going to be able to find something interesting. He's just going to push the wave and be happy. So, with that being said, in this game, the Predator technology was really, really OP. Predator is good if you can snowball lane. Probably not. Do you think that 2 Heralds now will be more important than 2 Drakes because of more gold from plates in 10.5? So the thing is, the Rift Herald is designed in a way where the second Rift Herald cannot take platings because it's always going to spawn past 14 minutes because there's a 6-minute respawn time and the first one spawns at 8 minutes. So the first Rift Herald is really, really OP, and 10.5 is going to be even more OP. The key thing about the second Rift Herald, it can be used to break inhibitor turrets. And inhibitor turrets are quite tanky and durable to all attacks, but they have little HP, and Rift Herald does true damage. So the 2k true damage is very nice to a turret that only has 3000 HP, and inhibitor turrets are quite fragile and important. And if you manage to take one early on, it's huge. yeah, I don't know. The exhaust technology is really OP. Like double exhaust is super strong. I don't know why other teams are just not straight up copying it, because I think it's from watching their games, it's painfully obvious that it's super OP. Exhaust buff was just too huge. There is no diminishing returns on exhaust. I think they need to really add that to the game. So it was a bit odd how much time Hylissang was spending around bottom side. I feel like Hylissang and Fnatic, what it needed to look to do is just contest the top side squadron, and use the fact that G2 don't have a top turret. Slowing the game down as much as they did is quite rough, honestly. They need to just control the space right here. They can even go through top into mid. And that's cool too. They have 3 items on Kai'Sa. And as long as they delay this, it's going to be more hard. So he has to push all the way now. The issue is looking at the position of the rest of Fnatic. They are not in position to actually enter and control the space. They're not entering the space anytime soon. G2's only mission is to control here and to find access always to the Baron. As long as they stay in this space, they are very happy. Right now, Kai'Sa position, Rakan position, everyone is kind of all over the place. So there's not a lot of action there. Sad Life Pigeon, thank you so much for converting your Twitch Prime to a tier 1 sub. Olaf catching top waves, why not? Janna's not gonna do it. Fnatic, go for the Nash, which is honestly a decent call here, considering Olaf is showing, but the goddamn plant is just too insane. The goddamn plant is just too insane. And as silly as it might sound, you know, Fnatic G2, as exciting as it is, this 100% lost in the game. If they just clear this plant, this is a good call. They get Nash. And then obviously the smite as well from Selfmade. Jankos is level 13, but Selfmade, yeah. This decided the game. Like, they are just thinking Olaf no flash, right? Olaf no flash. Then after Selfmade just miscalculates by 13. Not used to finishing Morello. He's used to having the 10 extra AP from this large rod. This decided the game. Like, G2, this Nashor pushes them over the hurdle of them being weaker. And then now, from this point onward, they're going to be stronger. Their composition has reached the breaking point. His ult is the more impressive part. It's very easy to press R with Olaf, guys. It's not so difficult. If you ask Jankos himself, I'm sure he's not going to be proud. Oh, I pressed R so well. He's just pressing R as he's in the air, guys. It's not a big deal. Like there is, it's a very easy window to press R for Olaf. Like he needs to press R and that's it, you know. I thought they changed that when Olaf or his teammates are the ones hitting the plant, that he still gets over if he R's. Do you think Reckless having Executioner could have changed some of the fights? So Kaiser can't really buy Executioners, it's very awkward for her. If anything, honestly, all of the champs on Fnatic, it's pretty awkward for them to buy Executioners. I think, if anything, maybe Whipman needs to buy it. And now G2's composition just takes off, man. Look at this healing. This won the game, honestly. This definitely won the game. Very difficult for Fnatic. Like, you could see G2's goal there was definitely to stall, right? If you want to stall, the positions you need to maintain is this. You need to make sure that you don't get pushed out of this space. Because if you control the space that I highlighted on the minimap, it means you have access to Nash in so many different ways. If you get pushed out of here, it's very awkward. The key place is the Raptor camp. And there. These are the key positions that you need to hold. And G2 was doing a good job of holding. Very good job of holding. And Fnatic, even if they get Nash here, it's not guaranteed that they will win, right? Because they're still on a timer. They're definitely still on a timer. G2 still kind of get away with murder from that early game. G2 forcing on that Cloud Drake was a big mistake, in my opinion. G2 with the Ezreal, Yuumi, Janna draft, their side lanes are just so fucking weak. Like when you have Ezreal, Yuumi in your team, it better be the weakest part of your map. Hidesang running it down. That was brilliant. And now with the QSS, it's very difficult to find engages because Ezreal is going to be your main target. Kaiser's still pretty strong. Like Reckless is definitely strong at this point in the game, but Ezreal is giga strong. Giga strong, man, with the Janna shielding. Big Ezreal stonks. Big stonks. No one really needs to hit. No one needs to hit the set, right? Can G2 comp just hold position though, like Inhib for example? Yeah, like against Nash is difficult, right? But it's not like Fnatic is automatically going to end the game off of one Nash. They need more than that, and the fact that G2 has 2 dragons is a big deal. They got the first one because of Olaf pick, and then they got the Cloud Drake as a trade for 2 deaths and also losing mid tower. So Jankos gets the steal, self-made miscalculates by 13 HP, and if they get the Nash here, definitely they're going to be in a much better position than this, right? Because now it went from decent chances of winning the game to very slim chances of winning the game, because now 4 items are finished on caps, 3 items are finished on perks. They are monster strong. Graga's itemizing Morello is very squishy. It doesn't have Zonya, which is the core item people usually go for. Could you maybe tell me why? So his set is kind of running it down, but it worked. Okay. But played is pretty good. But nobody's dying, man. Look at G2. They are so healthy still. Super, super healthy. So Perks and Caps switch roles to switch out to make sure that they don't burn out. You change the player in their position, you maintain the same roster, and you make sure that everything is fresh and new for everyone. Usually teams after 1 year, they die out and become worse, and G2 are switching things up but keeping the same players. I think it's quite genius, honestly. So that's the only reason. They need to make sure that the dynamic is fresh, and that's cool. Flash for flash. Yeah, Wundu is playing support, you're right. Nemesis with the wind wall. Here, honestly, Perks doesn't need to go here. Because Nemesis is dead, but he gives Akali an escape. I mean, Akali gives Yasuo an escape here. Like, if Akali doesn't walk forward, Nemesis, I think, is dead. Then Bwipo with the flip. Jankos no R, because for some reason, like Jankos shouldn't R here. Like, what the fuck is Jankos doing here? What's his ultimate? It's really troll. And Nemesis is pretty dead here. And then Akali with double stopwatch. Healing comes down. And the fights are just oppressive, man. Really oppressive. Like, this is the best thing Bwipo could have done, right? And Kaiser burned flash before, had no R. Akali survives because of the double stopwatch, Zhonya and basic stopwatch. So it was tough. Good damage output. I like the move from Janna though, to walk up and trade flash. I think it's good. So the best thing still that G2 can hope for, I mean Fnatic can hope for, is they need to try to one-shot Ezreal somehow, but it's so goddamn difficult. And then you need to ask yourself, can we one-shot Janna somehow? Because Yuumi is inside of Ezreal, so that doesn't work. Ezreal with E and QSS and all these items, it's super, super difficult. Very good power move here from Fnatic. Ezreal Yuumi showing on top side, and Fnatic react fast. They have a wave, and they're killing super creeps, and they're just going. Ezreal Yuumi is showing on top side. Yeah, Reckless was zoned out, yeah. Really good punish. Like the only LET team that would do this is Fnatic. Very good moves here. Nemesis is underrated. I think he's being rated pretty fairly. Do you think Fnatic should take the fight there? No, I think it's good to walk away. It's better for them to fight under an objective where G2 need to face check them. It's if they force a fight there, G2 is fighting on their conditions. Fnatic, Fnatic definitely need to find a flank of some sort, right? So this is a decent fight. The QSS comes late. Ideally, what you do here, Caps, he QSSs and E's over the wall. There was a flash instead, and he survives, and here comes the Janna E and the healing, and he's full HP. And then now the fight is super good for G2 again. Keep in mind, 3 key ultimates have been burned from Fnatic, while on G2 side, they've burned their summoners. So the key thing about summoners, right, is that you can still eat Raid Snow. It's close. I'll be worried to either over to the Raptors. I think there's a chance you don't have range. Nevertheless, I might be wrong. This is just Fnatic fighting with no ults on. Hylissang tries to find the engage, but he misses the W. So this is pretty oink. Yeah, Hylissang just misses the W. Nemesis cannot connect with his ult because here Ezreal doesn't have QSS. So maybe if they land here, maybe they can do something. Because Kai's position is good. Maybe they can look to one-shot Ezreal. But then again, one-shotting Ezreal seems a bit unrealistic when Janna's right there, right? Like Janna, after Gragas ult is down, there's just no way she can die. Gragas ult needed to be kept for Janna every time. That's the key thing. And with the way Fnatic has been fighting, they're just too scattered and they burn their ultimates. Look at that healing, man. Very good moves here from Perkovic. I think that's a very, very fair way of rating the mid laners. Maransky, 11. And G2 end the game. Okay, so what did we learn? Fnatic, very, very strong in the early, man. Very, very strong in the early game. I appreciate their gameplay. They were super far ahead. Good clean play on 2 heralds. Pressured the map together. Good adaptation, good itemization. Showed a lot of good stuff, honestly. And G2 went for a very dangerous draft. Very dangerous draft. And Janna's already nerfed, God bless, so we're not going to see it again. A very dangerous draft. And then after that, Nash, G2 just reached the breaking point. I think even though Fnatic seemed kind of out of it and they played a lot of, like most fights after that. Most fights after that were clearly in G2's favor, but at the same time, Fnatic played them pretty bad. Hylissang wasn't really himself after that, and it seemed like Fnatic were broken after that Nashor game, but I'm sure the current alteration of Fnatic will bounce back, no problem. So this just makes for exciting best of 5s later, and G2 prove once again that they are by far the best team in Europe. Not by far, but G2 show that they are the best team. Fnatic show that they are the second best team. You need to keep in mind, casters are... It's easy to say in hindsight, right? We're sitting here in hindsight and talking about how good the teams are scaling. It's much easier after, you know, I get to watch the game. I get to sit in the cab, digest the game. I get to eat food. It's very different for the casters to be there in the moment when they see a new complete composition. They don't get to digest it the same way and they need to make predictions and thoughts. I think when you see Kai'Sa into Ezreal, it's very natural to think, okay, Kai'Sa is going to outscale, but then Yuumi changes that aspect. Janna also changes that aspect. Akali and Olaf are decent in the later parts of the game because of the nature of Fnatic's composition. So the bottom line is just, I think Selfmade play a lot of those fights very wrong. I think he needs to keep Gragas ult. Gragas ult needed to be kept for Janna every time. They need to... Like, Gragas ult is such an important tool. It's the most important tool in their whole kit in order to start fights. And it was rarely used in such fashion. Almost never. And I think that's a key thing to review is always you have to look at how you need to fight these fights. Okay, Janna is a problem. How do we deal with her? Rakan shouldn't realistically be able to engage on her. Only Gragas ult is realistic to engage on Janna because she can't really dodge it unless she has like good movement with move speed, right? But if you're throwing Gragas ult on top of her, most of the time you hit Yasuo ult and then you combo her because the moment Yasuo ult lands onto Janna, there is no one that can cancel the Yasuo ult. No one. Only Janna can cancel the Yasuo ult. Only Janna can deal with Rakan. So the moment they deal with Janna, Rakan opens up. He gets to play the game. Seth gets to play the game. And it just changes the nature of fights completely. So I feel like still, Fnatic had options. So you just had to look to one-shot Janna, and Janna kept herself in a good position most of the time. She got caught by one rack on W at that point where they defended the second Herald. But yeah, interesting game. I think Fnatic needed to look to go deeper into controlling the enemy side, meaning the top side of the quadrant. If they thought about the blast cone, then the game would look very different. Maybe they can even look to end and pressure. But I like the game. Let's move on to C9 versus TSM.